Hello, good afternoon everyone. Welcome to December's installment of the Philippine Indigenous Language Lecture Series, or PILS, for the year 2025. So this marks actually the final installment of this year's PILS. This year-long series of public lectures was organized in solidarity with the International Decade of Indigenous Languages from 2022 to 2032, as declared by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO. And in particular, this installment is held in celebration of the 50-year anniversary of the BA Linguistics program in the department. So it's kind of a fitting occasion to end this year's skills. So without further ado, good afternoon to everyone. I'm Brian Salvador Carato Baran, and I'll be your moderator for today. So this event is being recorded and will be uploaded at the YouTube channel of the UP Department of Linguistics. For the members of the audience, I believe we have some students from our Ling 197 class who I'm sure will be interested to learn about this kind of very emotional topic, the so-called angry register. And I hope everyone will be as excited as they are. So if you have any questions, we will try to address them after the talk. We request that you keep your queries concise, to the point, and respectful. So please be quick and please be kind. So December's lecture is on Bicol with an ISO 6393 code BIK, a macro language of the Bicol Peninsula. Our speaker is an associate professor at the UP Department of Linguistics. He is a former board member of the Linguistic Society of the Philippines and currently serves the organization as a member of its board of advisors. From 2019 to 2023, he was a member of the Board of Trustees of the Asian Association for Lexicography. He is also the coordinator of the UP CSSP Folklore Studies program, which recently held Balatik, a symposium on Philippine ethnoastronomy. Our speaker also recently joined the executive board of the Ritual Year Working Group of the Société Internationale d'Ethnologie et de Folklore as part of his advocacy work. He also convened the CATIG Collective, an initiative to advance the linguistic rights of Philippine ethno-linguistic groups. He also recently held a talk on language endangerment for the College of Social Sciences and Philosophy 2025 Serie ng Panayam, entitled On All Fronts, Linguistic Trauma and the Fragility of Philippine Languages. So those who've been to his recent talk know that he also considers himself a part-time hermit. So to give his talk, Bicol, not necessarily angry, let's welcome Associate Professor Jesus Federico Hernandez.
Last day ng klase ngayon, hindi ko alam kung bakit nandito tayo. Ano mag-usap-usap tungkol sa linguistics. Anyway, before I start, play mo yung video na lumabas sometime early this year, first quarter of the year.
This is the only language family that grammatically distinguishes when the speaker is upset. It's called Bicol, and it has what linguists call an angry register of words that are only used when you're irritated or you're trying to irritate someone else. For example, if you're talking about rain, normally you would use the word uran, but if you're annoyed about the rain, you would use the word bagrat. And not only can the words be different, but the conjugations are often different too. Like the word for eat usually ends in an, but if you're angry, then it ends in o. This can be used to intimidate or nag someone into eating, this can be used to antagonize or insult someone's eating, or this can just jokingly be used to oppose the concept of eating. But the angry register is also kind of a mystery because nobody's really sure why it developed. What was special about this language in particular that they had to develop a grammatical construction to specially articulate annoyance? We do know that we can reconstruct angry words going as far back as 400 years ago, but we also know it couldn't have been that much earlier because no other related language family has the angry register. The words also exhibit some regularity, indicating that they might have had letters swapped or added during a normal morphological change.
So tingnan natin, no? Kasi nung lumabas itong TikTok video na to, parang ang dami nag-react, parang people in social media, even in your regular media, wrote something about itong angry register. So everybody, for a very short period of time, everybody was so excited about the idea of an angry register in Bicol. So tingnan natin, ano ba talaga ito? He cited yung work ni Nobel, which came out with isang parangal for Glory Reed ata. And yeah, so everybody was, even GMA Inquirer or something about this, angry register na to. So some points dun sa, nabalingat din sa kanyang short na video, and number one, yung uniqueness nung register. So he was saying na It's unique, kakaiba, sa Bicol na nakikita. Although, medyo iffy kasi ako when people say that something is unique. Lalo pa, if you look at the mga Philippine languages, hindi pa natin na-scratch yung surface ng basic description pa lang of all the languages, wala pa tayo. So for us to say something that's unique, ibig sabihin nun, dapat nakita mo na rin yung iba pang mga wika. Also, dapat nakita mo rin yung iba pang mga wika outside the Philippines na hindi pa natin na-describe. Pangalawang point is defined by the speaker's emotional state. So is it unique? Not particularly. Kung nabasa ni Afam yung sinulat ni Nobel after, he mentioned na actually nakita niya rin ito sa Mongolo, which is another Philippine language, and yung sa mga Eastern Manobo languages. Again, ang pinag-uusapan dito yung idea of an angry register. So, this is also defined by the emotional state, thus, angry. Ito yung sabi ni Nobel. Nobel is a Filipinist. If a puti na nag-aaral ng mga Philippine languages. At sinabi niya na unang nag-describe nito, or at least nagtawag nito na angry register, ay si Malcolm Mintz. Isa ring puti na nag-aaral ng mga wika natin. Nabanggit rin dun sa article ng Nobel na kahit doon sa dictionary ni Lisboa, yung vocabulary de la lengua Bicol 400 years ago, may mga notes siya sa ilang mga words na nakalagay na ginagamit kapag galit. So, yun yung mga paniniwala nito mga puting tao ito. Pero ganun nga ba? Sa tingin ko, yung angry register, it's a misnomer and it's also reductive. Sure, ginagamit ito kapag galit ka. Hindi lahat ginagamit ito kapag galit sila. Pero marami pa itong ibang pagkakataon kung saan ito ginagamit. Ginagamit ito to identify oneself. Ginagamit ito para magharukan. Ginagamit ito for linguistic creativity. Ginagamit ito as a form of protest. So it's not just something that's angry. Hindi lang ito masagalit. Actually, what's even worse is, meron kaming term for that. Meron kaming term for this type of register, which we call rapsak. Okay? Have these white people bothered? But no. So what is rapsak? So rapsak is, well, loosely translated, it's vulgar, but not in other ways. Na, kasi you can be vulgar in how you move, you can be vulgar in how you look, you can be vulgar in a lot of different ways. Pero itong word ito is specifically vulgarity na may kinalaman sa salita. May kinalaman sa paggamit ng salita. So it's vulgarity na may kinalaman sa vulgarity in words. That's it. It even appears in the Lisboa dictionary, which tells you now 400 years ago, the idea itself of rapsak, it's already there. Okay? So ito mga angry. Alright. Now, si Leonor Diliaco, she's an educator, a writer, public schools division supervisor, Camarines Sur. This was in the 60s and 70s. She was also the president of yung Kabikulan Cultural Society. She's also a graduate of UP, hindi considered po English or education. Kasi nung time niya, lahat naman sila English majors. O hindi English education. Yung binuo nilang grupo, yung Kabikulan Cultural Society, binubuo ito ng mga writers, historians, all these different, mga nasa academic na field. At very active sila noon. Meron sila mga series of debates na in print about Bicol orthography. She wrote something about Bicol syntax, etc., etc. And this was in the 60s and the 70s. And nagsulat din siya about Rapsak. Okay? Yung print nitong libro ito, hindi makikita yung title, but it says, mga tataramon na lagod as in Rapsak. This came out in 1972, pero it was written before that. Itong maliit na essay ito is actually parang a memo, it's a call for decency, parang let's avoid using mga Rapsak words. Parang ganun type. Kasi their group was all about, siguro because of the time, they're promoting what's the beauty in Bicol, the beauty in Bicolandia and all of that. So she came up with this little essay. Actually, it was mainly addressed to commentators, teachers, all of that, to avoid using these words. So, hindi ko alam, siguro dahil babae siya at hindi siya puti, hindi siya binasa ng mga nauna nagsabi na angry register. Very common yun sa atin kung hindi nyo alam. Very common yan sa scholarship ng Pilipinas. At alam niyo ng mga taga-department, it's not the first time na hindi nila pinapansin yung mga Pilipino nagsusulat about it. So, si Diliaco defined Rapsak as ang kataramo na Rapsak, mangiri or kadire, maati or madumi, as in osmak or bastos. Sinasabi niya na ito yung tinatawag na vulgar and obscene sa English. So when you say vulgar, ang definition niya nito na binigay niya sa kanyang little essay ay garapan, hababang klase or low, kulang ng kabinian or lacking in refinement, obscene. Ang definition of obscene ay mangiri, repulsive, bastos, indecent, immoral, laban sa kabinian, kalinigan. So it's offensive to both modesty and decency. So makikita niyo dito sa how she defined it. Now there's a social component to all of these. Na meron mga ideas of what's pure and what's beautiful in terms of language and what's not na dapat natin i-avoid like the plague. Okay? So makikita nyo agad sa definition niya, yung social component nito. She gave the example Oragon. Sino mga Bicolano sa inyo? Ayan, dalawa. Sino po yung mga ibang Bicolano? If you familiar with word Oragon sa ngayon, it's commonly used. It refers to someone who's really magaling. Yeah. Pero para kay Diliaco, this time, na people who use Oragon, sinasabi niya ay tikapos sa terminong kaipuhan sa malinaw na pagtaram or lacking in vocabulary for clear communication. So she was saying, instead of saying malakas or matalino or may sinasabi, Oragon na lang yung ginagamit. And Oragon used to be a vulgar term. It used to be a term dun sa nakapaloob dun sa Rapsak na category. Kasi it was a reference to virility and sexual prowess. Okay? So yung nanay ko, which also from this generation yung Diliaco, medyo whenever she hears yung Oragon used by the local government or whatever, medyo yung reaction ng konti kahit alam niyang iba na yung, semantically iba na yung kahulugan ngayon. Kasi nung time nila, it was reserved for for sexual prowess and virility. Okay? So nagbago na. Pero yun yung example na binigay ni Tiago. So let's talk about the Oragon. Which is me. Parang ilalagay ko lang yung sarili ko dito sa mga usapan na ito. So I'm a native speaker of Bicol Naga. I was born and raised sa Naga. I'm quite proficient in Rapsaka, I would like to believe. Well, at least more proficient than people I know. I grew up on both sides of the tracks. My father was from a very proper family. Sila yung tatay ko, yung lolo ko, yung mga tito-tita ko doon at yung mga pinsan ko, they're very proper, even in their choice of words. So these people, even my siblings, they don't use these terms. I always living early this week, and sabi ko, hindi ko alam yung mga sinasabi mo. Kasi I was just checking yung data that I will use for this presentation. So, ito yung there are times na they clutch their pearl necklaces kapag they see something na, oh. So they're very proper. It doesn't mean that they're good people, but it just means they're proper. Proper in society. Okay? Now, my mother's side, on the other hand, this is the other side of the tracks. Okay? Ito yung mga hindi pa huhuli ng buhay. Ganun yung mother's side ko. They're not necessarily bad people. Well, most of them are. but these are also the people that uses a lot of itong mga tinatawag natin na vulgar terms. They're working class. You know, they use a lot of these words. They're irreverent, they're witty, they're rebellious, they push boundaries, all of that. Yun yung mother side. So I straddle itong dalawang pero my best friend growing up, I was closer to my cousins sa mother side. Kasi I don't have a pearl necklace to touch. And also, I grew up as a pasaway na bata in terms of yung societal norms. I don't really look like someone who's proper. This can never be proper. So unfortunate. And I put it there kasi growing up, syempre, my mom was modeling us to be more proper than yung mga cousins namin on her side. Pero one time, I think I was about grade 6. Hinahanap niya pa ako, parang it was around late at night, around 10 or 11. Nahanap niya pa ako kasi hindi niya ako nakita dun sa higaan. Kasi I was out dun sa likod ng bahay namin. Nagtatago ako dun sa may puno ng mangga. Kasi I was smoking. Tapos nahuli ako ng nanay ko. So sabi niya sa akin, "Oy Jesus, gabsok na, yaon ka pa dyan sa bugaga." Now, yung terms of gabsok and bugaga are very vulgar terms. Gabsok is a vulgar term for gabi or banggi, and bugaga is a vulgar term for lupa. Parang gabi na nandiyan ka pa sa labas. Pero she used vulgar terms. And while natawa na for a second, natuwa ako na, my mom speaks this variety of Bicol, of the language. Now, I should have expected kasi, her family, the community she comes from, they all speak like that. And that became our way of communicating, even in terms, nung matanda na siya, even before she passed, That's our way of communicating. It was really more vulgar. And she only communicates like that with me, not my siblings. Kasi it's our way, it's a sign of endearment, it's a sign of irreverence, it's a sign of recognition and acknowledgement of how weird person is. I guess it's all of that. So it's not in the context of anger or scolding, but it was more in the context of, I see you, I recognize you. So this is something special between the two of us. Not shared by the siblings or any other. So ganun din yung kuha ko doon. Kaya I could really use these vulgar terms with her. So even though society would say na, oy, mas bata ka, hindi ko pwede sabihin doon sa matanda. Ay, so nung nakita ko na angry register, well, not always. So anyway, all of these variations, kasi tayo naman when we talk about language, it's always about variations. Wala namang iisang anyo yung wika. We always like to think na very monolithic yung wika na very smooth and all. But it's all about the grooves and the textures of language. So variations in language can be geographic. Ito yung more familiar sa atin na dialectal variations in terms of geography. But it can also be very social. So depende doon sa mga social groups na pinabibilangan ninyo, depende doon sa kung ano yung mga pinag-uusapan ninyo, depende doon sa saan pinag-uusap. Halimbawa, the language you use to talk to your friends is very different from the language that you use when you talk to your parents or when you talk to your teachers. Pero even may ganun kayong mga variations of the language na hawakan, magbabago niyan depende on the topic, on the location. You can be balahura with your friends outside of class, pero you cannot be balahura with your friends when you're, let's say example, in a church. So ibang register, ibang tone of the language yung gagamitin nyo when you're in church, even though ang kausap mo ay pareho. So all of these things, yung variation to are apektado nung participants sa communication, yung location, yung topic, etc. etc. Baka isa din sa atin ay may iba't ibang paraan ng pag-manipulate, paggamit ng language. So it's also personal. The way you articulate yung every sound is different from the person next to you articulating the same sound. Okay. Dito rin papasok yung idea of yung linguistic repertoire. If you track down, halimbawa, yung buhay nyo, araw-araw, no? At kung paano yung ginagamit yung wika at kung anong wika ang ginagamit ninyo, you'll be so surprised that throughout the day, iba-ibang register ng wika yung ginagamit ninyo. Halimbawa, pag-ising ninyo, let's say, nagdadasal kayo pagkagising ninyo. Or from the looks of you people, I'm judging you. Hindi kayo nagdadasal. Parang, ano yung language na ginagamit nyo when you pray? Anong register of the language na ginagamit nyo kapag kausap nyo yung Panginoon? Eh, pagtayo ninyo, punta kayo ng banyo, sipilyo kayo, tapos kita nyo yung sarili sa salamin, meron yung mga words of affirmation or self-loathing din. Minsan. So, iba na yan yung type of language na gagamitin mo doon. Pagbaba mo, nakita mo yung nanay mo nagluluto and all of that. Ako asamin mo siya, pero ibang form pa rin of the language yung gagamitin mo. So, if you track down buong araw ninyo, yung linguistic repertoire ninyo, makikita ninyo na ang dami-dami yung iba't ibang variations of the language na ginagamit just in one day. Wala kayong magawa bukas, di gawin nyo. Ginawa ko once kasi, di ba? Siyempre, kailangan mo gawin kasi para maniwala ka na ganun nga. Kung wala kayong magawa bukas, pero kung wala naman kayong kasama, wala kayong kaibigan, wala kayong kausap. So wala nila, kausapin yung sarili ninyo. So yun yung idea of the linguistic repertoire. And part of this ay yung vulgar na form of of the language. Yung vulgar, again, syempre, this is from Latin vulgus, which means the common people. This was also used to contrast everyday language from yung formal, classical, clerical, institutional forms of the language. So anything outside the institutions, o yung ginagamit ninyong mga common tao kasi hindi kayo mga alta sosyedad, ay tinatawag na vulgar at some time. Okay, it's also important kasi it's an expression of it's used to express intense emotions. Halimbawa yung pagiging galit. It's also a space for linguistic creativity and identity, where we do some structural and semantic reimaginations. Yung isa kong pinsan na best friend ko, naka-age ko din. Pag wala kayong magawa, umakit kami ng puno. O, nakakakit kami ng puno dati. So judgmental. Kasi ako nakakit ng puno, nakakakit ka ng puno. Mga grade 5 naman ako nito. Okay, umakit kami sa puno ng aratilis. Pag wala kayong magawa. Kasi nag-iyosi kami doon sa puntaan sa aratilis. Tapos kumakain ng aratilis. Tapos ang ginagawa namin, nag-iimbento kami ng mga new ways of saying things. Actually, new ways of swearing. Yun yung challenge namin palagi sa isa't isa. How can you make something even more vulgar, more repulsive, more shocking? So we spent the entire afternoon just doing that sa taas ng aratilis, di ba? Naninigarilyo nung mga minor pa kami. It also taps into social taboos. At mahalaga yun kasi we always have to challenge yung mga norms sa yung mga ideas of purity. Tulad ng mga sinabi na Diliaco, yung ideas of the standard. We always have to challenge those things. And it allows us to push yung mga boundaries. This is why yung vulgarity, even swearing, is important. So makikita natin na itong mga variations of the particularly yung vulgar na variation, it's a powerful expression of emotion, tool for social rebellion, and also an outlet for linguistic creativity. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. So, sa mga languages sa inyo, ano yung mga vulgar words na alam niyo? Diponggal, bunganga, lamon, so yung iba feeling nyo proper kayo. How aspirational. So feeling nyo talaga na mga alta sosyedad kayo, oh my God, I don't use those words. Arte nyo ha. So, makikita nyo, even in Tagalog, parang marami kayo makikita mga words that are vulgar. Sometimes you don't even think about it. Like yung bunganga, o yung lamon, o yung siba, ganyan. Those are vulgar terms. Anyway, dahil bored ako nung isang araw, gumawa ako ng alphabetics. Pangarap ko talaga sa buhay ang gumawa ng alphabetics. So these are abstract alphabetics. These are words in Bicol that are considered vulgar. Halimbawa, the word for anak or aki, that's a vulgar counterpart, which is butalnak, akos, asket, bun. Ang dami, di ba? Siguro ang daming mga anak ng mga Bicolano. Hilig mag-anak. Or, antok, which is tungka. As a vulgar counterpart na misrut. Ahas or halas, as a vulgar carpet na nasulas. aso, dayo, actually marami pang ibang forms yung sa aso. Then you have babae becomes babaknit.
Parang bruha in Tagalog.
Hindi man. Babae pa rin. Babae pa rin yung ibig niyang sabihin. So in this particular case, yung semantics is still the same. Pero may dagdag na pragmatic na vulgar. Yung uri is baktin. Yung vulgar counterpart na in Central Bicol. I'll explain later yung baktin. Yung bagyo, alimagyo. So makikita nyo, parang wala namang kahit ano-anong mga bagay at kahit ano-anong mga actions, even may mga ganitong counterparts. Yung harong is langag. Wala akong mahanap na picture. Mga pasensya. Baka ma-wash tayo dito. Brian, pakidelete yun. So yung bastos, yung ay, Brian, delete this part. Yung bibig ng muso ay ngurapak or nguraspak. Yung bungog becomes lusmog or lukmog. Yung buta, which is blind, becomes butalag. Bados, which is butis. Mga Bicolanos. Lados. Kakan becomes ablo, siba, gutok, sabsab, habhab. Kamot is kabulmog. Maluto is malustod. Kapatidutugan is ngurangod. And kudut or tukurot is kukni. Muro becomes tamuldo, and bado is lasdo or basdo. So kung iisip yun talaga, parang, parang ang dami naman ito. Parang, pag iniisip ko sa Tagalog, wala, every time I ask people sa Tagalog, palagi lang bunganga. Yun na. Dapa is dasmag. Banggi is also gapsok. Gutom is guslok. Hadok is tulip. I'll explain later kung bakit yan. Alat na nagiging latulat. Dungo ay digong charot. No, baka may awahin nyo. Baka may DDS sa inyo, peace. It's dungadong. Huling araw na ng klase. Huling lecture na ito. Nagbigay nyo na ako. Yung ribok is risbok. And yung ihi, iris. Ginagamit sa inyo? Iris. Inom. Tiilab, labla, bara-ra. Nabil is muduy, umus, tuka. Yung tuka is, di ba ginagamit sa Tagalog yung tuka? Alam, pula-pula naman yung tuka mo. Diba? So you also use that. Lalaki is, kung yung babae ay babaknit, yung lalaki ay lalaknit. Yung burat, hindi yan yung vulgar na word. Ang ibig sabihin lang yan ay lasing. Kasi galing siya sa Spanish na borracho, di ba? So yung lasing ay lasngag. Or lusrat. So yung lusrat, obviously, para may connection siya to burat. Pero yung lasngag, parang iba yung galingan. Because if it's borrowed from Spanish, then there must be a form kung saan ang galing yung lasngag. An older form. Yung lupa or daga ay buga-ga. And then yung magtaram or magsalita ay magmurab-murab or magmaw-maw. Manok. Ha?
Maldus.
Malpak or maldos. Mag-aki, mag-ugbon. Mata. Malsog, alisakog, amamatak. Matanda. Gusgus. Bitis can be either any of these. Lamitis, lamigtis, samingkil, singkil, sikitiil. Pahakanon. Bahugon. We were talking about this kami ni Brian kasi iba yung idea ng bahog sa Cebuano. So parang it has to, you can use it sa tao, but it also has to be wet or may sabaw ng konti. Sa Bicol, you use bahog. It's really a vulgar way of saying, to feed people. Anggutan, namudaon, yung palayoko, yung koron, kamuko. Pasyar becomes lantok, lantuag, lada, grabas, ruab. So a lot of different words for that. Gadan is tigbak. There's also a very productive word, yung kwarta becomes sabagtak, sabagrak, sagrak, samaltak, hagrak. All of these forms. Lusbot or lusabot. Hindi tayo pala. Yung sarwal is samarigwal. Taram, ngaw-ngaw, mubungub, murab-murab. Ugma, dayakdak, kurahaw, agrat, suka, sukalkag, suntok, bagtak. Talinga, talis nga, talingugmug. Ngirit becomes ngat-ngat. Tulak is also lamasdak. Tubig can be tulig, tumulog, kalbag. Turog is tusmag, tuspak, tuspok, tipsok, tilmag, tipla. Uran, tulad na nabanggit kanina din sa video ni Afam, it's also bagrap, or usran, bagwap. Payo, or the head, is also sometimes called kamau-mau. Ano ba sa inyo?
Alipantak.
Alipantak. Mas brain, di ba? Even yung una dito, bakit kaya may vulgar term for una? Bangil and yung utak is alimantak and yeah, that's it. So yun yung ilan sa mga words na meron tayo. The reason why I wanted to show you that is to show you na wala talagang very specific na semantic domain, wala rin very specific na word class. It's just all over the place. Actually, the words na mahina yun are very basic, common, pwede mo tawagin na core na vocabulary. So these are words that you use almost every day. So maybe that's the reason why there's another way of saying it, kasi these are very common words. So, how do we categorize itong mga salitang ito? Now, one of the things na makikita ninyo, even in Tagalog, when we're talking about vulgar terms, is the idea of the beast. Parang kinukumpara mo yung tao sa hayop, or the beast in man. Yung idea na yun. It's not, most of the time we think of it as something to dehumanize, or sometimes it's also, it refers to yung augmented na let's say, qualities like yung singlakas ka ng ganyan, na hayop. Okay. Yung pagkumpara ng tao at hayop, it is very productive in our languages. If you're interested, si Professor Bacolod wrote a paper on yung animal metaphors, paano natin ginagamit yung mga kahayupan sa metaphors natin. Si Sergei Klimenko also wrote something about yung mga animal metaphors. And yes, doon sa mga vulgar terms, marami kayo makikita na words that are, that refer to animals used to describe people. Halimbawa, yung ugbon, which is the offspring of an animal, is used to refer to yung panganganak or yung offspring of a human. Yung ra-ra, which is to drink by an animal, yung ginagamit din sa refer to tao. Sab-sab and siba is to eat bahog, as I was saying earlier. It's also to feed animals. In Bicol, pero ginagamit ko rin siya para sa mga tao. Tugdon is to perch, yung bird perching. There is a vulgar term for to sit, yung maupo, nakatugdon. Almost, which is the snout, refers to the mouth, and tuka. Now, yung iba pang mga words na hindi ko na sinabi sa alphabetics, halimbawa yung word na kirag. It's such a vulgar term for the word na malandi. Let's say yung malandi, instead of saying malandi, they will use the term kirag. And it refers to yung, alam mo yung pag yung in-heat yung hayop, nakakita na kayo ng hayop na in-heat. Okay. Alam niyo yung hayop.
Dalawang asa sa kalsada, gano'n.
Yung pag-in-heat yung, usually the female dog or the female cat. And then yung sagbat, it's also the mating na ginagamit rin sa vulgar vocabulary to refer to yung sex. Okay, so that's one category. Another category is not from my backyard. They call it not from my backyard or the other. Some examples of this are yung baktin. Baktin kasi, while it's vulgar in Central Bicol, it's the regular term for pig in Rinconada. So, since outside of Central Bicol language, there's this idea of the other, so the words of the other may be considered vulgar. Or yung siki and tiil, both refers to the field. Yung siki is used in, let's say, in some parts of Bicol and Waray. Yung tiil ganoon din, some parts of Bicol and Waray. But in Naga, it's Central Bicol, it's used as a vulgar term for feet. Yung tiil in gay lingo is high heels. Malaglaga pa natin yung social na alam natin. Yung gadya, it's a borrowed term from Bahasa and ultimately from Sanskrit, which refers to yung mga nagbabahasa sa inyo. Elephant naman. Pero pagdating dito, dahil wala naman tayong elephant, in Bicol, it refers to a huge dog. It's a vulgar term for a dog, or any huge animal for that matter. So gadya produced gamadja, and gamadja produced gamaid. So now you have three terms na lahat na ito galing doon sa gadya. na borrowed term into Bicol, dahil wala siyang reference to Bicol, now it's used to refer to something vulgar. Another categorization I call ang gurang ibarimbang, which translates to ang matanda ibalibag, something like that. So these are words that come from, that became obsolete at some point, or the other in time, in terms of time, or these are also petrified affixes. So halimbawa yung singkil at asket, halimbawa yung singkil, mahahanap niyo pa siya sa dictionary nila sa bawat refer to yung kicking using the toes. So sisipa mo siya, pero yung toes mo lang yung pinapagalaw mo. So that became, hindi na siya ginagamit ngayon at all. Ginagamit lang siya as a vulgar term for feet. And that gave rise to yung mga words like samingkil and all of that. Yung asket is also, while it's in the Lisboa dictionary, it's no longer used ngayon. What's interesting, it's itong series na ito. Itong series na may ali. Like Alimagyo, Alimantak, Alisako, and yung Amamanta. It's interesting dahil yung ali is a kakaibang prefix. It's a petrified prefix. Yung reconstructions ni Blas, halimbawa, would tell you it has something to do with either creepy colors or something divine. So, kung bakit siya ikinabit dito, ito ba mga forms na to are old forms when Ali was still quite productive, or are these newer forms where Ali was just attached to the base? Also, same with yung amamantak, yung amado sa amamata. Yung intense action, yung words I use for intense action, some of them also became vulgar words. Halimbawa, yung bagra. Okay. It could have, kasi it's of the vulgar term for uran, which is uran in Bicol. So bagrat may have referred to bagyo, tapos tinanggal mo yung last part and then you substituted a different suffix to it. Kaya naging bagrat. No. So it refers to rain. It doesn't refer to bagyo. Kasi bagyo would have a different bagyo yung vulgar term for that, but it refers to rain based on your intense na action that was semantically converted to code vulgarity. There are also contributions from other social dialects. Ibang mga social dialects, they create itong mga words ito, and some of them become part of, or are considered vulgar. Babalikan ko yung word na tulip, which means to kiss. Now, this came from a social dialect kung saan din nagaling yung mga words like tambay, and all of that. Kasi tulip comes from English na lips to lips. So from lips to lips, it became tulip in that social dialect, and tulip became popular enough that it was now, it became part of the vulgar na vocabulary. Yung same with lapang, which comes from yung gay lingo na lafang, which ultimately comes from lapa, which is to eat. So nilapa, lapa became lafang, it became lapang, and then it went into the vulgar lexicon of Bicol. So these are all from other social dialects. And maraming mga words that are just formed, using substitution, insertions, and iba pang mga phonological and morphological devices. Halimbawa, if you look at this series, lahat ito may last sa simula. Okay, so that's one pattern. Itong isa pang pattern ay may insertion of S sa gitna. It's one of the more productive actually na ways of forming itong mga vulgar words. Halimbawa, yung kalinga, which is tenga, you had an S in the gitna, kalis nga, then it becomes vulgar. or yung lubot, which is puwet, LMS, lusubot, or bado, masdo, all of that. Another category would be yung ano yung nickname na kinakabit nyo sa lalaki at babae. There's also a suk ending or an uk ending. One could argue na yung guslok nagkaroon ng metathesis dun sa gitna, and still it's a suk ending. There's the pak ending na makikita nyo dito sa murapak, etc. etc. And then yung tuspak becoming tuspok may have been a function of yung vowel harmony or an assimilation of sorts to the vowel. And then you have all these reduplicated forms that are almost onomatopoeic. Na yung mga ngaw-ngaw, ngub-ngub, ngak-ngak, murab-murab. So they're almost onomatopoeic. Parang ito yung na ginagamit dito. Now, ang problema natin dito ay it seems na itong rapsak, itong vulgar na mga terms in Bicol is the coming together of multiple linguistic others. So yung mga salitang hindi ginagamit nung side ng tatay ko. Yung mga salitang hindi ginagamit nung nina Leonor Diliaco. So from different time frames, from different languages, different lexical creativity and all of that. All of these contribute to what's vulgar. That's why sila Nobel and the other Afama had very hard time of figuring out kung ano yung saan ito nanggaling. Kasi it seems like nanggaling ito sa maraming sources na hindi tinignan o hindi tinanggap dun sa kung ano yung standard, formal, beautiful, elegant Bicol. Okay. So it seems na may ganun. Kaya medyo mahirap i-process. Lastly, familiar kayo sa Tagalog expression nito? Yung kaututang dila. Di ba kadiri? Kasi parang, ano ba yung ot-ot? Di ba ano yung ot-ot? Ano yung ng ot-ot? O kayo mga Tagalog speakers, mga Tagalog imperialists. Ot-ot, inu-ot-ot mo. Parang yung sa pacifier, inu-ot-ot mo. So you're biting and sucking on another person's dila. Ganon. Kaut-utang dila. So ang ibig sabihin ito ay kaibigan. Wala palis yan sa Bicol. Kasi sa Bicol, hindi lang dila yung inu-ot-ot namin. Ang term for Bicol is kasupsupan na ragnag. So ang inu-ot-ot mo yung palit na yung ngalangala. Nagsusupsupan kayo ng ngalangala. Mas matindi ko. Wala Tagalog, panis kayo, nandito na kayo sa dila kami naandun na kami sa ngalangala. So, which, again, when I was doing this, ang dami ko nakukuha ng mga phrases naman din in Bicol that are also considered quite vulgar. But that's a topic for another day. Dahil pagod na yung aking bibig sa kakasalita. So, salamat sa even the use of man here is actually sarcastic. So, medyo teetering on the irreverent. Instead of saying, salamat sa Indo, we just thank you. Salamat man sa Indo. Which is thanks, but not really. So anyway, any questions, Brian?
Right. Maraming salamat po, Sir Tuting. At mukhang may aabangan tayong next lecture for using vulgarities. So, quite interesting na nagmula tayo sa diskurso ng Angry Register as something unique to parang pagpapalawig na Angry Register is not just something that is angry. At gusto ko na pakita ni Sir Tuting yung pag-uugat ng ating kaalaman hinggil sa Angry Register o rapsak o vulgar language na parang ito ay na-record na mula sa mga Spanish dictionaries at meron na taga-Bicol na nagsulat hinggil dito pero hindi lang nga siya pinansin. And natawa ko dun sa anecdote na binigay ni Sir Tuting dun sa kanyang nanay na ginagamit yung vulgar language as a way of showing intimacy na para bang may plus intimate effect yung rapsak. And of course then nga, vulgar speech is kind of a part of this linguistic repertoire that parang serves as a space or outlet para palabas ang linguistic creativity and to challenge boundaries, whether it is something na within person to person, challenging our intimacy or challenging parang societal norms. At nagbigay nga si Sir Tuting na alphabetics of these different rapsak words na hindi ko na lang ililista para hindi tayo ma-watch sa YouTube. Okay, so I guess marami tayong mga tanong. So maraming salamat ulit Sir Tuting and I think we can proceed to the question and answer form. Right, any questions? Please state po your name and your affiliation.
Alonso Canales Frank, Philippine Studies. Kaya ba siguro nasasabing angry register kasi yung way of speaking din ng mga Bicolano as I experience kasi katitira ko pa lang sa Naga is like minsan parang galit. So parang because of the use of R, like kasi pag may pag-usap ako, ang daming R. So parang ang hirap intindihin. But at the same time, tunog galit. Like, napunta yata ako nun sa Kabusaw or Libmanan. Like parang, they speak like angry, but parang inintindi ko na lang, ay baka iba lang to sa Tagalog tone. So baka kaya nasabi rin angry register yung mga words is because parang mas matigas pa yung pagsasabi doon sa vulgar words than doon sa normal words. Kaya po ba ganun?
Mukha ba akong ganyan? Ang nung Wednesday, sabi nila mga tao sa department, bakit daw ako galit? Hindi naman ako galit. Bakit ako galit? Buong araw na, kaya tawin ako bakit ako galit. I think yung primarily na kung bakit tinatawag na anger register is that I think yung mga tao kung kailan yung ginagamit ang sinasabi is when they are angry, which totally miss a whole lot of things. No? Kasi while, again, ginagamit mo nga itong mga words ito when you're angry, hindi lang ito ginagamit tuwing galit ka. Pero dun sa tunog, sa tono, I don't know, pero perhaps we can do some experiments on that. Kasi I've had people say to me na kung ang Iloilo na pagka-Ilonggo is very sing-songy, mellifluous, Bicol is like the German of Philippine languages. Kung saan very staccatic, ganyan, pabagsak lahat. Pero baka hindi nilang nakikilala pa yung mga Bicolanong sweetness. Yung mga maninipis na mga Bicolano. Baka hindi niya pa nakikilala. I'm not sure kung merong theological na character that would automatically alert you na this language is that. Pero syempre, may mga perceptions tayo sa mga and the fact that we think German is galit because of the staccatic na delivering. We think that Ilonggo, they're kahit galit na, they're still very mellifluous pa yung kanilang tone. So baka kailangan tingnan yung prosody din ng mga languages, kung merong ganun, or yung combination of the sounds. I know na yung AK, tulad kanina, yung mga talpag, etc., those are very strong in terms of, parang pag pinahikinggan mo, it's almost onomatopoeic na parang may bumabagsak. So I don't know if that has something to do with yung perception of sounds. So baka somebody should do a study on yung intonations and phonological, yung lalo yung prosody ng mga languages.
Right, do we have other questions? I think over here. Alright, pakipasa.
Hi po, Sir. Rohan po, EL. More on question plus commentary po. Dadagdag lang po ako dun sa sabi niyo po na yung isa sa rin ko po kasi yung word for daga is babo, hindi kino. Tapos ang sinasite sa akin palagi ng mga matatanda na raspak sabi sir. Raspak niya is asbo. Di ba po yung asbo is a kind of aswang? So like, is it part of that parang othering? So parang that category. And then, another po, nung pinasa ko po kasi yung thesis ni Kuya E.G. about katubong, yung nilagay niya sa mga words ay yung parang elicited data for halimbawa water, for and so on. Yung nilagay niya, yung mga angry red, parang mga rapsak words sa other people. For example, katbag yung nilagay niya for tubig. Tapos sa Iriga po actually, katbag din, ay at least sa mountain areas kung saan malapit din yung mga Iriga Acta. Ang gamit po namin katbag. Habang sa baba, yun na yung mga tulbig people and so on po. So, ang tanong ko lang po, kung yung by that othering, does that also apply more on dun sa relationship ng mga lowlanders sa mga highland Acta po?
Ano yung isip ko kaya kung mayroon bang dynamics between the centers and the periphery, no? Kasi if you look at it, in Central Bicol, you can see a lot of yung mga vulgar terms that are coming from other Bicol dialects. Diba yung Bakin, which is from Rinconada, which is a normal word for pig, is vulgar in Central Bicol. So I was thinking, baka kasi yung Central Bicol being the major Bicol language, baka may ganung relationship, may ganung dynamic. Pero if you look at yung mga vulgar words in Rinconada, marami kang makikita rin galing sa Central Bicol. Like yung, let's say yung amil, or hamil, which is to swallow, the form is quite vulgar in Rinconada. So baka hindi siya yung central periphery, it's just a general other na pagkakaiba. Kasi nagutin ako, akala ko kasi it's always, Naga being the center, papunta, yung Naga would say na, this is the standard. Itong mga forms ninyo ay hindi standard or vulgar. Pero pag tingnan mo doon sa Rinconada, yung forms na Naga that are considered vulgar. So, baka kailangan pagtingnan yung gano'n. I think it would be interesting to see yung dynamics kung paano.
Dito muna siguro na side.
Hello sir, curious lang po.
Welcome back.
Ay sorry, Ruben po. Dating League Major, ngayon SLAS. May tanong lang po, sir.
Huwag mo na sabihin dating League Major. Graduate ka naman.
So, curious lang po, sir. May rules po ba, like tipong kapag ginamit niyo yung angry register, kailangan consistent na gamitin niyo? Kunyari, gumamit na kayo ng angry register sa first clause, parang kailangan yung second clause din ay naka-angry register din yung mga words. Or like, kunyari, yung verb na pag gumamit ka ng angry register na verb, kailangan yung object niya ay naka-angry register din. At saka kung may limit ba or parang lahat pwede bang naka-angry register? OA ba siya? Or is one enough para using one word in a sentence enough para sabi na naka-angry register yung sentence? Yun po, yung mga
I don't think there's a limit or a word count. Diba? As long as it appears, then it triggers agad yung pagiging vulgar of the word or the sentence. So walang one has to agree with, or the subject has to agree with the object or anything like that. Walang ganun. Parang you can choose to use a lot of it. You can choose not, just a couple. Yung iba, like my nieces, they don't even know that they're using vulgar terms. Pero yun lang kasi yung naririnig nila sa akin, and natutuwa sila sa akin. So, to the horror of their parents, sinagamit nila yun. Pero walang ganun.
Alright, I think meron dito.
Mary Jane Rodriguez mula sa Departamento ng Filipino at Panitikan ng Pilipinas, Philippine Studies. Pagbati kapatid. Sinabi mo sa akin kaninang kabastusan, konti nga lang. Pero pinag-usapan natin dito ay yung intense emotions. Okay, so pag naisip natin ang Bicol, ayan yung maanghang, sobrang siling labuyo, no? Bicol Express. At gusto ko sanang isipin na pwede, yes, no? Kasi kung ang kultura ay ugnayan ng tao sa kanyang kapaligiran, so merong pwedeng tingnan sa perspective ng geography, yung pagiging disaster prone ng Bicol, maya nagpaparamdam si Daragang Magayon. Pwede kayang maipasok dito yung ganong pagtingin na isang paraan kung paano talaga nare-release yung emotions ng mga tao, lalong-lalo na sa gitna ng kawalang katiyakan, no? Ng mga precariousness or precarities. So, pwede bang ito ay resulta noon?
Yeah, I think makaisa rin yun sa mga kasi right now, what we're seeing is iba-iba yung pinagagalingan, iba-iba rin yung paggamit ng mga tao. So it could be also that, alam mo naman yung mga Bicolano, mahal kami ng Diyos. Pinagyan kami ng 2 bulkan, dinaanan kami ng bagyo, maya't maya may landslide. Lord, ano ba? Tama. Diba? Igalan yung so, I think one way of coping with that is through irreverence, and one way of expressing irreverence is through language play. So, it could be all of that. Then, so it would be interesting to see whether there's a particular domain, let's say, of disasters and all of that goes through yung lexical reimaginings din nitong mga Bicolano speakers. Kasi parang meron. Kaya nga mahirap siya at this point na ipin down, sabihin lang na it's just being angry. As it can be so many different things. I'm sure there might be elements of the lexicon that are forms of maaaring either irreverence or hoping, or may even be a way of protesting God or something like that. Or that's why we have all of these things. It can be obvious. It's something that has to be studied, pretty difficult to study, kasi if you look at all I was looking at the data, maraming mga bungi, maraming mga hindi mo na alam kung ano yung ibig sabihin nito, mga suffixes man ito o mga prefixes man ito, hindi natin alam. Hindi na alam kung ano yung patterns ng pagkakabit kasi konti na rin lang yung words na natira na gumagamit nun. So, yeah, it can be a challenge. But it's something that we can do if you look at one way of doing it is to look at other varieties of Bicol din para magkaroon ng parang internal reconstruction of one of these. Then we can move to yung attribution of bakit kaya bakit yan nangyari dito. Yeah, but if there's one thing we know, mga Bicolano, ayan, we survive. Anything else?
Dito muna siguro sa likod, yung kanina nag-raise.
Maray na hapon po sa Indo. Ako po si Nicole Era Marie Balisi, second year linguistics. Instead of a question po, parang multiple points or comments lang po siya throughout the talk, which I really enjoyed. First po siguro dun sa Oragon. Sa Daet po kasi, since dun po ako pinanganak, mas gamit po namin yung maurag. Since yung root word naman po talaga niya is yung urag or orag. Tapos, yun din po, nagdagdag lang din po na parang personal experience dun sa paggamit ng rapsak. Since yung lumaki po ako sa lola at lolo ko, and normal po talaga sa kanila yung ganong vocab. Kaya parang, pagkausap po nila ako, halata din po sabay. Pero yun, pagkausap po nila ako, yun din po parang muraspak, murag, ganun din po yung parang ginagamit nilang word sa akin. Kaya na-adapt din po namin siya ng mga kapatid ko, pati kay mama. So, when we use it, hindi namin po siya parang sineseryoso in a sense na galit talaga. But rather, kumukha siyang galit from an outsider perspective. Pero sa amin, alam namin na although may like intense siya pakinggan, it's meant to sound very parang thoughtful in a way na parang be watchful of yourself. Parang ganun po yung pagkagamit namin sa kanya in sentences. Tapos yun din po parang in addition to like acquiring the sounds like the stops at an early age plus the speed, kaya mas lalo po tayong parang galit pakinggan gawa ng mas prominent yung sounds and then mas mabilis ka magsalita and then to other people it sounds like you're really intense, pero sa atin it's very normal naman talaga. Tapos dun po sa word na suntok, hindi po ba vulgar i-consider yung bugti? Yan.
Dagdagan yung bugti, biyogtian, nagburugtian.
Hindi ko lang po siya maalala kung sa Daet po siya or sa Legazpi since tumira din po kami sa Legazpi.
Ginamit din siya sa Naga.
Thank you po.
Sa Katandahamis din. May ganyan din yung mga Chinese, parang all of my aunts sa mother's side would use that register when they're talking to us. And it's endearment, yeah. The way I see it or the way I take it, it's endearment more than anything.
Good afternoon, sir. Naim Bagamalim. I guess you know me already since I'm one of your students from your extra Bira classes, but I introduce myself here. So I am Zion, a graduate of BE International Studies at PUP Manila. And I have one curious question. If there are any statistics regarding how among the different languages in Bicol, which of these speakers who would use the Ingui register more than the others?
Wala pang study. Pero what we know is all these different varieties ay may ganitong type of register. Yung variety ni Rohan would have that. Yung variety ni Chester would have that. Yung variety nyo. Sa inyo. Meron din. Gawin sa Daet. So, pero kung a test kung sino yung mas nagagamit ito, wala pang ganun pag-aaral.
Hello po, ako po si Nico Salvador, current MA student sa Linguistics. Na-curious ako kasi nabanggit niyo na yung mga pamangkin niyo po, parang ginagamit nila yung mga ilang salita sa register na to. Tapos minsan, parang hindi nila alam na bahagi ito ng gantong register. And di ba nga kanina yung sa mga examples sa Tagalog, parang kahit technically may pagka-vulgar sila, parang at least today, parang hindi na siya as considered as vulgar anymore. So siguro curious ako kung sa register na to, parang sa tingin niyo ba parang may mga ilang salita dito na mas nagiging common or at least very highly frequent kaya nawawalan ng vulgarity, or baka baliktad naman, baka may mga polite or calm or proper words na unting-unting mas nagiging vulgar. At aside from that, parang yung category distinction between parang proper at yung register na to, very discrete ba yung ganun, or very mas continuous yung distinction between the two registers?
Siguro yung sa unang question, halimbawa yung term na oragon, it used to be quite vulgar, yung orag and oragon. It refers, as I said, yung sexual parts, but it also refers to dominating someone, hurting someone. Kaya nga, yung oragan and all of that. Pero it has lost that, yung pagiging vulgar niya. Kasi now, it's even yung motto of the city. Maorag, Orago, Bicol, Orago. So it has totally lost that. Parang there's a generation ko na wala na yun actually. There's a generation na nanay ko, kaya she still reacts that when she was alive. She reacted to it whenever pag narinig niya. Kasi there's a generation na nabutan niya pa na yung term is it's very vulgar. Or not in my generation naman. So yung mga nephews and nieces ko, sometimes they don't even know na vulgar yung ginagamit nila until ginagamit nila sa mga magulang nila. Parang, saan mo natutunan yan? Dahil ako ay uncle lang naman, hindi ko na trabaho yun. Na para ayusin pa yung sense of propriety nitong mga batang ito. I'm just here for the fun, di ba? Yan naman yung mga tsuhin. In terms of discreet, yung pagiging discreet, yeah, it's quite discreet.
Right, so I guess last question from Mr. Aldrin.
Hello, magandang hapon. Aldrin, ka-member ko si Sir Tuting sa isang excursion GC. Sir Tuting, parang I feel like hindi lang mula sa Bicol, parang yung access siguro sa northern part ng Visayan languages going to Cuyunon, parang siguro magmamanifest yung similar register. Pero parang mas appropriate for me yung tawagin siyang parang antipathy or antipatikong register. Yung parang mga forms na ginagamit mo when you are expressing like anger, dislike, or inis. And I feel like may elemento lagi ng exaggeration in some of the forms. So halimbawa, I remember exactly sa Cuyunon meron kaming yung subo, ungit. Pero pag nakita namin na parang ang dami mo nang sinusubo, sabihin namin, bangal ka ruman dyan, bangal yung ginagamit namin. And then tampa, meron ding dapal, di ba, yung exaggerated. So parang may mga overlaps ng meanings in some of the forms. Like halimbawa, yung example ko ay sa reproductive organ. For example, sa male, meron kaming paggalit ka lang ginagamit talaga, yung sarabutan. Sarabutan means parang allocation kung saan tumutubo yung pubic hair. Pero ginagamit lang siya paggalit ka, parang sa imong sarabutan. And yun, pwede lang siya, siyempre sa adult na male, kasi yung tutoy naman, yung wala pang pubic hair yun. So parang may mga overlaps ng meaning. So parang I feel like maybe magandang magkaroon ng parang baseline documentation. I was like thinking of pwedeng gamitin baseline eliciting material yung alphabetics na ginawa ninyo and probably see kung saan yung overlaps. Because I feel na parang hindi siya exclusively angry na register. Yun. And also not exclusively Bicol, I think.
Yeah. Kaya weird para sa akin yung video sa yung articles ni Jason Lobel. Kasi parang gano'n yung sinasabi niya, parang it's unique to Bicol, etc. It's also not just angry. As I said, it's also endearment, it's also lifestyle creativity, it's also banter and harutan, it's also fun, it's all of that. Yeah, I would think it would be interesting to actually see kung ano nangyayari dun sa buong area kasi I would think that there would be a lot of, apart from overlaps, yung mga processes, yung philological or morphological processes, I think merong similarities at merong mga nahiram din na process in terms of dun sa formation ng multong rapsak. And I would think there would be a lot of semantic movements and departures dito sa mga salitang ginagamit dun sa area. So, yeah, kung sinong interesado sa inyo pag-aralan ito, go. Gusto ko lang gumawa ng alphabet names. At least have a children's book that's not for children.
Alright, so maraming salamat sa mga katanungan ninyo at once again, many thanks Sir Tuting for sharing your knowledge on Bicol, this so-called vulgar or ASPAC register. Alright, maraming salamat Sir Tuting and maraming salamat din sa audience for your participations at yung mga questions. So, including those who are watching the recorded version on YouTube, maraming salamat din. So for the members of the audience today, if you want to receive a certificate of attendance, please scan the QR code posted around the room, or you can type the URL bit.ly/PILS-BIK. So only PILS is in all caps in the device's browsers to answer the evaluation form. So please do regularly check our website and social media pages since we will be releasing soon an omnibus of all our anticipated activities for the year 2026. So see you there and see you soon. Also additionally, please follow our Facebook page since for those who have attended the Asian Culture Fest, we will also be releasing an album of the pictures of the event. So stay tuned. So we thank you again everyone so much for attending and supporting the 12 installments of the 2025 Philippine Indigenous Languages Lecture Series. So from Bantayanan to Bicol, so para full Central Philippine na moment. And we hope to have you again in the next batch of bills coming soon. So again, thank you very much everyone. Have a great day. Salamat.